What is up, W Sports Podcast? Jimothy and Tubby, we are back here because you guessed it. It is college football semifinals week, and we got all the picks, the breakdowns of the games, the expectations, all the good stuff. We're doing it today, so that way you can go into the rest of your week ready to go for some great semifinal matchups with some blue bloods that I know that the NCAA world is just ecstatic. ESPN's ecstatic about the matchups. But Tubby, welcome back to the show, man.
It's semifinals week. We're
It
we're
is.
here. Hopefully, we get some good football because we haven't had much of that in the college football playoffs yet.
We have not, and here's the thing. So that I want to point out real quick. If you had to look at the matchups we have right now,
hmm
would they have been the same had we just had a 4-team playoff? Do people know that?
No,
Yeah. So what's the difference? What would it have been?
well, I mean, if you just looked at it, you would have Alabama. I mean, not Alabama. I mean, Oregon, Georgia, then Texas. Wasn't they
Texas.
Texas, and then Penn State?
Yes, and the reason why I wanted us to hit that at the top is because honestly, the seedings are so weird.
hmm
Who's to know what the actual rankings
Yeah.
were? But that would have been the top four. You would have had two SEC, two Big Ten. I think that's hilarious because that's what the world would have absolutely hated. Instead, we have two Big Ten, an SEC, and then you get practically a blend between the ACC and the Big Ten team in Notre Dame. So
yeah.
I think they did pretty good. At least two of those teams, and honestly, Notre Dame could have been even in that spot. I think they were the fifth
Yeah.
seed, so they would have been the next one up. So I think yes, it's been kind of chaotic, and there hasn't been that many great, incredible like this is the moment, this is an
hmm
incredible game. But we've
Yeah.
kind of gotten what the top four teams.
It would have been interesting if it was a 14, whether or not Georgia would have got the nod, even though they are SEC team and all that. But with the quarterback questions, we saw it last year
Hmm.
with Florida State. Would they have done the same thing to Georgia as they did to Florida State? Because if they wouldn't have, there would have been mutiny.
Absolutely, but they would have been a two-loss SEC team who
hmm
would have not avenged their only loss either.
Yeah.
Like their losses,
No.
they were two separate teams. But I think that would have been fascinating because you would have won the SEC, and if you keep them out, that means you have to keep Texas out because they
Texas out.
just be, and it would have been a whole mess. So I think the committee was fine with the way it turned out, but
Yeah,
I think they did a good
that would
job.
have been fun. I honestly kind of wish we could have saw that now,
A
just to
little bit,
see.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been great. So, well, let's just jump into it. So, the first matchup is January 9th, which is 4 days from today. What is that? Thursday? Is that right?
Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah, Thursday night, which I'm not a big fan of, but Notre Dame is currently the favorite against Penn State.
hmm
What are the keys to victory for either team on this one?
Run the football. Who's going to run the football the best? I mean, we got two incredible defenses, especially against the run. We saw what Penn State was able to do against the best running back in college football, and Ashton Genty, hold him to a season low 104 yards.
Hmm.
And they ran for 216 yards against Boise State. So I don't think that's going to happen against Notre Dame. Notre Dame is a really good run stopping team. We saw what they did to Georgia, even though Georgia hasn't had a great run game this year.
Yeah,
But it's going to really come down to who can establish the run. And I think Notre Dame might have the edge because of one guy, and that's because Riley Leonard can run the football also.
yeah,
And if you can force Drew Allard, like we said, a couple weeks ago, you can force Drew Allard to beat you because Allard wasn't, spectacular in that game against Boise State. Put up good numbers, but they weren't the best numbers. So
hmm
I think if you can force Drew Allard to beat you, that offense it needs to run behind Singleton and I forget the other guy's name, but the two-headed monster that they have there. I think that it's going
Allen
to really come down. Yeah,
or Love, or
Allen.
who you talking about? Sorry.
I'm talking about Penn State. They
Oh,
have
Allen.
two. Yeah, I think if they can't get Singleton and Allen going, that offense is going to struggle a lot.
Yeah, and I think the other part is that Penn State they do have something that I don't think Notre Dame has. If it comes down to they need one big play and it's 3rd and 8, so you're not or 4th and 8, and you're not going to be able to just run the ball most likely. Although I
hmm
wouldn't be surprised if either team tried, right?
hmm
And that is just who do you throw the ball to? And I think Penn State
Yeah.
does have that with Warren.
Warren.
Um, yeah, and I just don't feel that same confidence for Riley Leonard in Notre Dame. But I
Yeah.
don't know. Is that an accurate feeling?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I believe so. I think Faison has really come on as his go-to target for them, but He's not Tyler Warren. I mean, Tyler Warren is insane. The numbers he's put up, that guy's going to be a problem in the NFL.
Yeah, definitely playing on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6'6", 250. It's absolutely insane.
I mean,
And
that catch against Boise State where it's thrown behind him and he leaps over the defender, reaches back, catches and gets hit. I was like, wow, that's
yeah,
an athletic big boy right there.
yeah, yeah, and he knows how to find the end zone as well. I wouldn't be surprised if he
Yeah.
has a touchdown in this one too.
Mm-hmm.
The over under this one is only 44 points. I actually think that's too high. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game than that because of the things that you've
Yeah.
talked about. A lot of running the ball, probably some drives that stall out.
Yep.
Just because the defenses are very, very focused in. This game is technically outside, though. It's at Miami. So I don't know if the dome thing situation that'll be, but
Yeah.
so it's not going to be like a steady agreement. It's, the weather looks like it's going to be nice. It's going to be calm on a night, but it's in the 50s and 60 degrees. So don't expect that to be a factor, but I do
No.
expect it to be your classic Big Ten matchup.
Yeah, pretty much. It's going to be a low scoring game. Or watch, I'm going to go opposite because we all usually when we're like it's going to be a low scoring game ends up like 45-38 or something crazy. So I'm going to say it's going to go over the 44 just because everyone's expecting it to go under.
Yeah, would be totally accurate. Yeah, it's like okay, I don't know what happened. This is the time TCU played. Was it TCU played Georgia or
Well,
Michigan?
no, they played Michigan and it was like 56-48 or
Yeah,
something crazy. Yeah.
man, that was a wild semifinal because
Yeah, it was.
incredible games. I remember doing the podcast on that, be like, that was amazing. And then we're like, what are you even talking about with a national championship? This is trash.
Yeah, and then Georgia goes and just absolutely destroys TCU.
Yeah, it's terrible. Oh man. But here's what is cool about the matchups right now in the semifinals is how many coaches currently coach and have a championship in the entire college football Division One bowl series.
Like
They
as a
have
head
a ring.
coach,
Yes.
they won the ring. One Kirby Smart.
Kirby Smart. I can't think of anybody else anymore.
Oh, well, I mean, and then Mac Brown's not the head coach.
No, he's not the head coach anymore. So yeah,
so only one I can
that's
think of
it.
Kirby.
So we're gonna at least double that number after the semifinals
Yeah.
and in the finals obviously are over, which will be nice to have
Mhm.
some new people in there. If this is a higher scoring game, who does that benefit more?
I'm going to say Penn State,
Penn
just
State.
because I feel like as much as we talk about forcing Allard to beat you, I think they have more explosive wide receivers than Notre Dame does. So I think that they will be able to maybe take those shots downfield that you won't really see Notre Dame do.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me. All right, well, let's talk about the next game. We got Texas versus Ohio State. Ohio State is almost a touchdown favorite. I mean, technically they are because it's 6 points. This over/under is expected to be much higher scoring game. I can't even say that right.
Yeah.
And Will Howard on fire right now. Quinn Ewers, he's Quinn Ewers still the same.
Yeah.
I don't know. You tell me. Give me the reason that Texas actually wins this game.
It's going to come down to their defense. Even everyone talks, oh, they're the number one defense in college football this year. Well, we haven't seen them really play much. And the one really good offense they played this year was last week, and
took it to double. It should have won.
Yeah, 4th and 10 conversions. Kept them in the game in overtime. So their defense, especially the secondary, which has been the strength of their team, is going to have to really step up because the wide receiver group for Ohio State, not something you look forward to playing every single week when you got a freshman wide receiver in Ryan Williams. Emeka Egbuka is probably going to be a first-round pick. Carnell Tate, your tight ends you got there. And then that's not even including Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson in the backfield. So it's going to be a tough test for them. But it's really going to come down to, can you slow them down and force Will Howard into some mistakes?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I don't see how Texas defense is able to slow them down enough. There's so much that's going right now. This is assuming that Ryan Day does not get in his own way. That he allows this team, he schemes correctly, and he goes out there and they dominate with the skill positions because they have too many guys. Now, sometimes when you have too many guys, it actually makes it a little bit more of a challenge because then you try to spread the ball too much. have the right game plan, attack whoever the weakest part is on that defense. If you're Ohio
Hmm.
State, that's what I'm looking at. Is what's the matchup? I'm going to exploit this one over and over and over again until they adjust their defense, and then I'm going to
Yeah.
this one over and over again. That's what I want because they have too much talent, and I don't
Yeah.
see Texas getting enough pressure on the quarter on Will Howard to force his hand. And
Hmm.
honestly, I don't trust Quinn Ewers to actually keep up with this game. They
No.
should have lost last week. Quinn Ewers
Yeah.
did make the plays in overtime to get those touchdowns, but
Hmm.
I'm worried that if he has one or two interceptions or just turnovers or it takes an interception, a really, really big sack, I
Yeah.
just don't know. I don't know. And I don't know that they're going to be able to run the ball effectively enough to make it,
I mean, they
you know,
haven't shown that,
yeah,
the last few weeks. They haven't shown the ability to be able to run the football, especially against tough, defensive lines. And Ohio State has a pretty solid defensive line there, and they got a lot of experience in the defense. So I think that, yeah, they're going to have to find a run game to take some of that pressure off of Quinn Ewers. I just don't know if they can. I mean, Wisner had played good for the most of the part, and the combination him and Blue were working, and now it just seems like teams are like, okay, we'll just make Quinn Ewers beat us,
yeah.
and it's worked for the most part. I mean, they haven't played great football over the last month.
Does it help at all that the game is in Dallas Arlington area,
I mean, that'll
River
help
home field?
because, yeah, you basically got a home field advantage, but I still don't know if it'll be enough. It just if Ohio State comes out with the same game plan they had last week, I don't think that Texas has a shot. I mean, I think these games do match up pretty well because Texas can be explosive at times, especially wide receiver Matthew Golden has been incredible. And then, you have a couple of those other guys. If Isaiah Bond is healthy, he can take the top off the field. But it's going to really, I think, really, it's going to rest on the defense and Quinn Ewers stepping up. If not, it's going to be a long night for them.
Yeah, probably one of the best talents in the whole game is Jeremiah Smith. In the
Yeah,
playoffs so far, he has 13 catches for 290 yards and 4 touchdowns. Yeah, he did it against the number one team, Oregon, and he did it at home against Tennessee in an SEC team that prided itself on how good their defense was this year. So watch
yeah,
out. I mean, he's the number one guy I'm looking for. I know you mentioned multiple layers, obviously him
yeah.
him being one of them. This dude's a freshman. I don't just
I, I I think I mixed up my freshman wide receivers. I think I said Ryan Williams. I meant Jeremiah Smith. I'm sorry, Jeremiah. That's on me.
I got
Because
to make sure we're
I
talking about
mean,
him.
because both freshman wide receivers were insane this year, but Jeremiah Smith, what he has done, I mean, teams are salivating over him in the
Dude,
NFL right now. What that kid can do, you know who he reminds me of?
who?
Julio Jones.
I could see that. Yeah,
6'4", can run, take the top off, can basically run any route you can think of. Just a mismatch, no matter who you put on him.
yeah.
That's who he reminds me of. If he can stay healthy, boy, he's going to have himself an NFL career.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know you can't do this, and I'm so thankful you can't. But
Yeah.
in the like, if you could be like, hey, I'm the Patriots, I'm picking 12. Give me Jeremiah Smith. Kind of like what the NBA does with
Right.
hey, you're going to stay over there in four,
Yeah.
your leagues and stuff like that. But I want your rights.
Yeah. I
Like,
want the rights to him.
I wonder how they can get that because man,
Boy,
he
if,
would.
if that was the case, he would be a top 5 pick.
Yeah, already. And he
Yeah.
still has 2 more years. I think he has 2 more years, right?
Yeah. At least 2 more
Wasn't sure.
years.
Yeah. So that is absolutely wild. So I think we're both pick. Are we? Did we make our official picks yet? I
I
mean,
don't know if we officially made the
okay,
picks, but I think we both probably lean in the same way. I've got Notre Dame and Ohio State.
okay,
I think those two are the hottest teams right now, and typically when it comes to playoffs like this, that's what it comes down to. Is I think the defense of Notre Dame is just played at a different level. You know, pretty much
yeah,
since the Northern Illinois game, and we've seen the defense that we expected all season. Step up lately and just really shut teams down, and I think it bodes well for them because they are so good against the run that it doesn't bode well for
yeah,
Penn State having to lean so much on the run game.
yeah. Penn State, Indiana, both or Penn State and Notre Dame, which is in Indiana. Long road trips to get to Miami for this game. Long road trips
Yeah.
for the fans. I'm going to take Penn State in this one only just I think it's going to be ugly 17-13, something 20-17, a really not
Mm-hmm.
a high prolific game, but that's what I got. Give me Penn State and then of course Ohio State to win, and we get the Big Ten says look who's the real big dog at this point. And yes, that was two of our top three teams, but sure, like it
Yeah,
is at the end of the day, the Big Ten. I think they're going to get the championship. Get two guys in the championship. I think that'd be huge.
I don't want to see a rematch of that game. I just don't. But I mean, I could definitely see it. But do we trust James Franklin? I mean,
That's my biggest question.
if he wins, he basically doubles. Just in the playoffs, the amount of top 25 wins he's had in his career.
It's true.
But I mean, they are playing really good football. I mean, they played really good against Oregon in the Big Ten championship game. So outside of that,
We're
I
at.
mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for a classic Notre Dame Ohio State. We saw last time they played come down to a last second handoff and score on from the 1 yard line with a few seconds left. I want to see another exciting game like that.
Yeah. Either way, yeah, that's all we're wanting is two really, really good games and then another really good game to follow this one up. That's what we're hoping for as college football fans. But maybe
Yeah.
you are watching the show, maybe you download the show, maybe you subscribed, which first off, thank you so much. What are people hoping for if they have subscribed to our show on YouTube, Tubby?
They're hoping to win a giveaway and get some incredible sports, news and knowledge and all that stuff from us. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna have other giveaways for other stuff, and then coming future. But we actually have a winner for December.
Let's go. Who is it?
So the winner of the Lenny Moore signed Colts jersey is Arbo82. So thank you for subscribing, and you send us a message on our Instagram account, the.w.podcast. Send your information, your name, address, and I'll try to get it out to you this week.
That's right. Well, guys, that is the show. And in case you didn't know, we're going to have another giveaway here this month in the month of January. And we want you to be a part of it. We want you to win it. And the easiest way to do that is actually the only way to do that is just to hit subscribe on the YouTube page. So make sure that you've done that. If you're downloading the podcast, go to our YouTube page just real quick. You can keep downloading it like normal. If you don't have time for YouTube, that's okay. But that is how you qualify. And that's also how you can get extra entries throughout the month as Tubby releases some hints as to who the giveaway is about this time. So it's an incredible time to be a college football fan, NFL fan. And the playoffs are in full swing, and we're so grateful that you all are part of it. But till then, we'll see y'all next time.
See ya.
See ya.